St. Petersburg, Russia, 1994. A man in a dark sweater sits hunched over a laptop in a room barely warmer than the street outside. No suit, no briefcase, no gun. His eyes, pale, sharp, the kind that read numbers the way other people read faces, are locked on a screen. He types something, hits enter, waits. 4,000 miles away, in a glass tower in Manhattan, a number quietly changes. $10 million just moved, and nobody saw it happen. The bank's vault is still locked. The guards are still at their posts. The security cameras are still rolling. Everything looks perfect, because the robbery didn't happen in a building. It happened in a wire, in a string of characters, in a password that wasn't supposed to exist in his hands. His name is Vladimir Levin. He is not a spy, not a mob boss, not a Wall Street insider with connections and cover. He is a software engineer, a man who looked at the most powerful banking system in the world and saw not a fortress, but a question nobody had thought to ask. How exactly did one engineer from St. Petersburg crack a system that Wall Street believed was unbreakable? And when the FBI finally started following the money trail across 6 countries, what did they find hiding behind all that code? Vladimir Levin didn't grow up dreaming of banks. He grew up dreaming of systems, how things connected, how data flowed, how a machine could be made to do exactly what you told it if you just understood its language well enough. By his mid-20s, he was one of the sharpest software minds in St. Petersburg. But brilliance in 1994 Russia didn't pay rent. The Soviet Union had collapsed, the economy had folded like wet paper, and men like Levin, educated, precise, dangerous in ways no one had cataloged yet, were left staring at screens in cold apartments, wondering what their skills were actually worth. That question didn't stay unanswered for long. It started with curiosity, the way most catastrophic things do. Levin was probing Citibank's cash management system, not out of desperation, not yet, but out of the quiet obsession of a man who couldn't leave a locked door alone. And then he found it. Not a crack exactly, more like a door someone had forgotten to close all the way. Citibank's system required an ID and a password. That was the whole wall. And those credentials, Levin discovered, could be intercepted, captured, reused. In the digital world, identity wasn't a face or a fingerprint. It was a string of characters, and strings could be borrowed. He didn't move millions on the first day. He moved thousands, a quiet test transfer to an account in Finland, small enough to look like noise in the system, large enough to tell him everything he needed to know. It cleared. No alert, no call, nothing. The bank didn't flinch. To Citibank's infrastructure, the transaction looked completely legitimate because it carried the right credentials, fake data dressed in real clothes. The seawater was already in the tank. After that, he opened the valve all the way. Transfers began flying. Israel, Germany, California, accounts set up and waiting like open hands. Millions moved in silence, border to border, institution to institution, each transaction wearing a stolen identity like a mask. Then, somewhere deep inside Citibank's monitoring system, a pattern started to surface. Accounts behaving strangely, transfers that didn't match customer profiles, numbers that added up on paper but made no sense in reality. One investigator stared at his screen and said the word nobody wanted to say out loud. Something was wrong. The FBI didn't send detectives with magnifying glasses. They sent computer scientists, people who could read a digital trail the way a tracker reads footprints in mud. IP addresses, timestamps, transfer routes. Every move Levin had made left a ghost of itself in the system, and now a team of federal agents was following those ghosts backwards, country by country, server by server, closing the distance between a crime that felt invisible and the very human being behind it. While the investigators worked inward, Levin's accomplices worked outward. Across Europe and beyond, a loose network of associates was racing to the counters of foreign banks, attempting to pull the cash out before the accounts turned to stone. It was a choreographed scramble, nervous hands, rehearsed explanations, eyes darting toward doors. Some made it, most didn't. One by one, the accounts were frozen mid-withdrawal, and the people holding the receipts found themselves surrounded by people with badges instead of tellers with cash. Levin watched all of this from behind his screen in Russia, and for a while that screen was his shield. Russia had no extradition treaty with the United States. As long as he stayed put, he was untouchable. The ghost had walls. Then, in March 1995, he boarded a flight to London. No one knows exactly what he believed would happen. Perhaps he thought the legal geography would protect him in the UK the way it had in Russia. Perhaps he simply miscalculated. But the moment his feet hit the tarmac at Stansted Airport, the digital ghost acquired a physical body, and physical bodies can be detained. He was arrested on the spot, surrounded by officers who had been waiting for exactly this moment, the moment the man behind the screen stepped into the world where code offered no cover. What followed was 2 years of legal warfare. Levin fought extradition from inside a British courtroom, arguing jurisdictions and treaties, trying to use the law the way he had once used a system flaw, as a door to stay on the right side of. He lost. In 1997, he was extradited to the United States, entered a plea bargain, and admitted to stealing $10.7 million. In February 1998, he was sentenced to 3 years in jail and ordered to make restitution of $240,000. Citibank was able to recover all but $400,000 of the $10 million that was siphoned from its accounts. The rest of the story became a blueprint, studied, dissected, and built into the foundation of every cybersecurity system that came after it. Levin didn't just steal money, he showed the world exactly how exposed it was, and the world never forgot the lesson.